Hey, family, I want you to listen to Gavin Newsom really quick about what's happening with them trying to strip and rob us of our rights to vote and the power that comes with it. Stay tuned and check this out.
Stone cold racism in a scale I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. Never have seen in my lifetime. It's all happening. Bring us back to a pre-1960s world. It's jaw-dropping what's happening. It was jaw-dropping what Governor Landry did. He suspended a primary election where tens of thousands of people had already voted. Why? To redistrict two districts to eliminate black representation. Anti-woke is anti-black. All these attacks on DEI, it's anti-black. Level of racism is sick. Rewriting history, censoring historical fact. This is not why our founding fathers lived and died. It was about the expansion of liberty, expansion of freedom. Stone cold racism in a scale I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. Never have seen.
There are people who primarily are over-exercising their amygdala. The amygdala is also called the reptilian brain, okay? And the reptilian brain is in a constant state of fight, flight, and aggression, or passive aggression. And so people that are that way are easily triggered by the unknown. They become fearful of the unknown. They fear the unknown. Why? Because they're using their amygdala brain. So is fear and flight and aggression. And they overly use that generation after generation. For many years, this like the Neanderthal, the cave dweller. They used their amygdala, the reptilian brain often, because they didn't have food that they can just walk up to a tree and pluck a fruit or a bush and a berry. It was cold and harsh. So they had to hunt all the time. So killing became a daily effort, a daily thought. Killing every day. Okay? And then when they saw other tribes that, let's say, had a successful hunt, oh, let's go over there and take their hunt, and take their women or whatever. So the amygdala, those who over-exercise their amygdala for generations upon generations, and the amygdala is called the reptilian brain, I'm going to refer to them as reptilian, since we're not adding a color at this point. Okay, so in contrast, the people that uses their pineal glands are more likely to be humane. More likely to be humane. Jesus had an active pineal gland, obviously. Hitler had a calcified pineal gland and was very aggressive in aggression. And so once you turn, so you ignore color for a minute, you become colorblind, but then you realize that there's a race of people or a group of people that are primarily operating from their reptilian brain. We're going to call them reptilian for short. And we're going to call the ones with the non-calcified pineal gland, let's call them humans, or the humane, or the chosen ones, okay? And then you turn the light on, and it's most of the reptilians are not melanated. Now, there are some who are, but I found it very interesting that this nation propagates that mentality. You know, government governs the mentality, governs the money, the mint, and governs the men. And so when I noticed, like, something said, turn on TV. I turned on the broadcast TV, and I went through the stations. It was, oh God, Murder, She Wrote. It was CSI, Murder There. It was a major movie with some death and destruction in it. Turn around, and I mean, they're one right after another. And to someone who's empathic or empathetic or feeling, you feel there's micro tinges, micro pains in watching that kind of stuff. But when you have the amygdala reptilian brain, you get excited. Ah, yeah, he wiped out them all. Let's go kill them all. Let God sort them out, right? So literally, let me now equate it to the living and the walking dead. Which one would be the more walking dead? Obviously the reptilians, because everything higher, there's something called a map of the consciousness, and 200 is the minimum you should be at, and at 200 is I think being, willing, accepting, logic and reason. Then there's love, then there's joy and rejoicing, and then there is enlightenment. Okay, but that is 200 and above. When you look at fear, that's like 50. That's way down from where you should be. When you're looking at aggression, that's way down. Fear and all of that is really low on the mental map of the consciousness, of the conscience. So there are a people who chose to be conscious and a people who chose to be fearful. And they did that constantly, year after year, generation after generation, culture after culture. And so today we have these, I'm going to call reptilian, because if I say this word, they're going to mark me. So we're not going to call them this anymore, because this is going to be shown on Is Not Real's TikTok. Okay, so we're not going to call them this. We're going to refer to them as reptilian, because they're using their reptilian brain. Obviously, we look at the crisis in government. We're literally in a civil war. We're in a civil war with the financier oligarchy, the technical oligarchy, and the racist, bigoted oligarchy. Even they're fighting each other. It's like a hydra. You've seen a hydra? A hydra has many heads. It's a beast with many heads, and it fights, and it will even fight itself, right? And we see that. We see that globally, we see it nationally, and we see it locally. What's happening globally? Globally, the Trump bigoted regime is picking fights with what they used to call allies. They call it the NATO, okay? And they're saying, "Hey, NATO, you should kick in more money." And NATO said, "Okay, we'll raise it a little bit, but we got these austerity issues, you know." He said, "You should do more." Hey, slapping the NATO, right? Then he gets into, then Is Not Real, which is like his puppet, drags him into a war with Iran. The door closes on them, and they don't even know how to get out of the situation. And then he picks fights with all his NATO allies, and now they're infighting. And now they're rolling back the civil rights to make it like slavery days. Yeah. And so when you're looking for the solution to the pollution, you got to understand who you're dealing with. You're dealing with a reptilian-minded people that don't mind everything that you would, they don't mind things that you would mind. And the danger is, if you look at them as anything but, you're putting yourself and your family in danger. These are times when we have to reintegrate into separatism. They're demanding it. We should be embracing it and building our own everything. What's your solution for this pollution?